I screamed so loud during a football game over the weekend that my neighbor came over to make sure I was okay.
I need a pair of slacks for a dinner party this week. So, no yoga pants then?
I feel like yoga pants are always okay these days, but I'm also wearing sweatpants to the grocery store. No pant is too indoor for me.
In this harrowing new reality series, adults go head to head in perilous night driving, deciphering fine print without readers, and competitive night sweating. It's adulting to the extreme.
Have such a good day. Hello, world. Welcome back to Have Such a Good Day, episode 134.
Holy shitballs, Sarah. It's almost 2/2/22 and 2/22/22. My mind is blown. I don't know what to say.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
this
that's a
mean?
fun one.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's not even a palindrome. That's like, what is that?
Well,
what is a palindrome, actually?
If you were to write 20222, it wouldn't be. But if it was 2222,
Sure.
it would technically be. I mean, if everything's the same number, I guess it's a palindrome.
I know,
it's
yeah,
not
but
quite
what
as
is the rule
fun.
for that?
I don't know. We're going to have to ask the palindrome gods. I'll do that as soon as we finish the show today. I have to talk to them anyway.
Well, welcome to the show. This is the show that unpacks the absurdity of everyday life for your entertainment. Hopefully. How is everybody doing out there? We just want to have an hour of fun with you all. Is that so bad?
Yeah, is that so wrong, internet? Why? Why do you always have to push back on this? No, we're really glad to have you. Heather and I do the show once a week, and we've been doing it for some time now, years, in fact. And we love to have you along for the ride, so thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, man. Hey, Sarah, how are those hot flashes going?
Well, it's been better.
Okay.
I think it's like any human. You kind of have a certain days of the month, female humans, I guess, more specifically, but certain days where you're feeling better, and other days where you're not feeling so good anyway.
Sure. Yeah.
So I feel like this is just like, speaking of to the extreme, it's kind of that sort of feeling. But I've been okay the last few nights. I would like to be sleeping better than I am, but it's not. I haven't had an episode that rivals what I felt early. Was it last week? Whenever it was, we last talked about
good.
this. I'm feeling okay.
Do
I'm hanging.
men have night sweats? Like, I mean, I know that it's more of a hormonal thing, but like when you get older, I mean, hormones change. Well, male hormones change too. So I wonder if men get night sweats.
Well, and it can, I think the kind of overheating for no real reason, or even if you're not overheating, but somehow you're like, you have funny sweats for no real reason. I mean, you could have the flu. You could, there could be all sorts of,
Sure, of course.
terrible
Funny
things
sweats.
wrong with you that would make that happen. But yeah, if you're a man out there,
Let us
and
know.
I know some of you are, yeah, we'd love to hear about your night sweats if you'd like to share.
Among other things.
We're friendly. We're friendly. We could talk about anything.
Anything goes on this show.
Oh, anything goes. Well, anything is going in my apartment, and I mean, going back to nature. So I've just had such a comedy of errors over the last, I don't know, since we spoke last. And it's like, do you ever look around? This always happens when I move apartments. Once you start taking things off the walls, putting things in boxes, you're just like, all I have is a bunch of junk. Everything is just junk. It doesn't feel personal anymore. It just looks like crap.
Yeah.
And, it's dusty, and, you move a piece of furniture and you're like, gosh, was the dust always this bad behind here? Yuck. And I'm not moving, so that's not the issue that I'm having right now. But I've got this bookcase. I mean, it's a bookcase / place to put art, whatever. I've had the bookcase for many years. It's moved many apartments with me, and it's black. I mean, it's like particle wood, but painted black. And it's kind of nice because it's quite big. It holds really all the books that I have decided, not to give away and save and whatever. But my house currently just gets really dusty. You don't have good insulation. I got lots of windows. It's just a dusty old cabin. And so my black bookcase is always dusty, and especially when the sun hits it, it's like it's never not dusty, no matter what I do. So for a while, I've kind of been looking at it like, I do love this bookcase. It works so well in this corner. I've got a bunch of plants on top of it, and it holds sentimental value to me. It's been with me a long time, but it kind of looks like crap all the time. And as the days get longer and the sun changes, it's going to get a lot more sun. It just bothered me all last year, where I was just like, let's dust this stupid thing again. And the other day I was moving a chair, like it wasn't even like a big chair. It was just like one of my dining chairs. And I nicked the bookcase, and somehow, I really don't know what happened. It all happened really fast. Somehow, like this whole like level came crashing down, and like the particle board like fully broke, like can't fix it, has to come out, books everywhere. And, it's kind of like, it's not really a like display piece of mine at this point. It's sort of just in the background kind of thing. So it's not the end of the world, but I'm like, it might be time to think about, replacing this with something that I think would work better now that it's fully falling apart. So that happened, where I was just like, where something like that happens and you're like, okay.
Yeah, like how did that happen?
My furniture just broke weirdly. Like I didn't throw a chair at my bookcase. You know what I mean? It was just it really grazed the whole thing, and it just
that happens to me a lot. Where I'm like I'll break something, wine glass or whatever, and I'm like, how the heck did I even do that? Like I didn't even move my arm. Like my brain did not send a message to move my hand. Why did it break? Like it broke into thin air. Yeah, it's a gremlin or something.
Yeah, I actually currently, I do have crystal, which I don't really use anymore because I'm afraid I'm going to break it. But from my grandma, passed down some crystal. I'm not really that fancy of a person otherwise. Yeah, it's just, it's a grandma thing. Yeah. But I have a box of real nice crystal, like they're kind of like little goblets really, for wine or whatever, that are still in a box that I just don't even bother with anymore because all of my wine glasses, you move, they break. Yeah, you hit it the wrong way. My dog's tail, everything breaks. I no longer even have a wine glass, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't need them. All I do is break them. So it's all great. But another thing I'm having in my, what I like to call broken house on the prairie. I don't really live on a prairie, more of a broken house in the forest. But so there's this alarm system. There's and it's not engaged. This is not something that the landlord has engaged. So don't come and rob me. Don't have an alarm system. But there's a unit in my kitchen behind the refrigerator. So it is extremely inconvenient to access it, but I never would because why would I? And then there's another unit in my studio, which is downstairs. And the one in the bedroom, the one in the kitchen, for some reason that I've not figured out, about once a year, it starts to beep. And it's that little like intermittent smoke alarm sound that like you can't live through. And the first time it happened, I thought it was my fridge because I just didn't even think to like look behind the fridge. So I was like, what is wrong with God, I have to get my fridge fixed. Then I realized, oh no, it's this unit. But I don't know how to turn it off. There's no like battery to take out. It's like, I don't know what it is. And so I pressed a bunch of buttons and then I got the real alarm going, which is, piercing, cats screaming, running around, Otis is having a fit, peeing in the corner, kind of like mayhem. And the first time it happened, it was mayhem. The second time it happened, I was like, okay, I don't really know how I fixed this last time, but I know I have to pull the fridge out of the wall and just press a bunch of buttons for a while, and eventually it'll stop for like another year. And I don't even know when that last time I did that, so it's coming up anytime in 2022. But now the garage where my studio is doing the same thing. Right before we started recording, I just pressed enough buttons that it stopped. I hope it doesn't start up again while we're doing this. But I'm like, the landlord is like, I don't know. I'm like, it looks like there's a code I'm supposed to enter to like really turn it off. And he's like, well, what would that code be? Like, the alarm system is not being paid for, or, who knows a code? Apparently nobody. So So that's just a thing that I'm
Oh
living with.
boy.
You know,
There's
and it's
never a
just
dull
like
moment, Sarah.
there isn't, and I don't know. I mean, what are you gonna do? What
Well,
are you
it's
gonna
really
do?
funny because we have I mean, I don't want to give too much away here, but nobody really knows where I live. But we have an alarm system. It's the Simply Safe, which a lot of you, we've talked about this on Discord. And it's, it's a system you buy online and you have a bunch of different little, little contraptions that you put on doors and windows to, protect. But our house is pretty big and we have the room that I'm in right now is this it was an art studio. I haven't done much art in here yet, but I do record the show in here, and it's a great space, and it's on the other side of our garage, so it was an add-on. So like, it's a lot of ground to cover, and it's sometimes I'm like, okay, we have this great system. We turn it on every time we leave, and then I'm like, but what if someone broke into that window? Like, do we have to put little nodes on every single window? Like it's not totally protected. It's like, yeah, we have like the main entryways, the doors, but I'm like, this isn't a super, tight system that we have going here. And I just find it funny sometimes because we're so diligent about turning it on. And I'm like, this is not, our house is not totally protected. Like, why are we
It's
even
like
bothering?
you're like assuming that the burglar will be like, front door is best.
Yes, that's the thing. Exactly. And I've tried to tell my boyfriend that. So like the other day we left and we have this sunroom, which is another add-on. It's like a small room that's just like all windows. And you have to lock the door to it and outside and to make sure that the alarm turns on. But like the window was open, wide open. And I'm like, babe, we just, we left the house, the window's open. Like we are not, we're not doing a good job. All right. But yeah, it is tough. It's the big house thing is tough because we're also having trouble with our Wi-Fi because you have to have so many extenders, for the signal to reach. So, Sarah, the work never ends. But
No, it doesn't.
I forgot to tell you last week that I don't know why I didn't bring this up. It's so uber important, but I have a linen duvet cover. I do not have linen sheets. And I know in our Discord, you've riled everybody up and everybody wants to buy linen sheets now. And now there's going to be a real supply chain problem because every one of our patrons is going to try to buy a set. So last week, Sarah told a story that she ripped her linen sheet. There was like a little hole in her sheet and she put her foot through it and it ripped it all in half. So she's been looking for a new set. Now I want a set because I love my linen duvet cover. But this is not the point. Whatever the material, duvet covers are a nightmare. And I know this is not new information. I know that comedians have, incorporated this bit into their specials, but seriously, nightmare. Last night, I was really proud of myself because I washed all the bedding, including like the blankets and the duvet cover. And I hate doing the duvet cover because it's always a huge ordeal and it has the buttons and I get so excited that I wash it and then I forget to put the bed together before, 10 o'clock at night. I'm doing it when I'm really tired. I never put it on the right time first. It's like Murphy's Law. Like it's always a fail. It never fits quite right. It's in, like the long ways where it's like, it's just not fitting properly. And then someone has no blanket on their side. It's just like slack, it's just like the cover. And so literally last night, I got a measuring tape out, I'm not kidding. Because I'm like, this is insane. This has to fit. This makes no sense. So I like measured each side to make sure that I was correct. And it's like plugging a plug in the wall. I don't know if you have this experience, but like every time I plug something in, it's never the right way first. I have to like turn it, because there's like the one side is like longer than the other.
Right.
Seriously, it never fails. It's like every single time. Anyway,
that's how I feel about my Apple TV remote. Like I can't pick it up right side up.
I hate that thing.
I'm actually physically incapable. Like I'll look at it and be like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is right. Nope, upside down again.
Me too. And that's a design flaw. I'm sorry, Apple, but like that.
Their newer
remotes
are
crazy.
They make it better. But
I don't even need it now because we have a smart TV. So I'm like, goodbye, Apple TV remote.
I mean, I love my Apple TV, and it's not new. So my remote is just, it's still that annoying one where it's there's no ridges, you know?
Yeah.
So like in the dark, you really just are winging it.
Yeah.
Unless you're paying really close
And I
attention.
can never find it, and it slips through the cracks. Like it's too small. I know that they're trying to make it sleek and small in your hand, but I can't stand that thing. I've wanted to throw it across the room so many times.
Your duvet situation, I know you've talked about your hatred of putting together the duvet cover. Also not my favorite thing to do, but I do wash my duvet cover a lot because it's white. Well, it's cream colored, but it's like, the cat sleeps on the bed and,
Yeah.
you just got to wash it. I wash it not as often as I wash my sheets, but I mean, I'm definitely washing the duvet once a month. If not more, and if there's a smudge or whatever, then I'll wash it right then. But mine, I don't feel like it's that hard. And maybe it's just because I wash it so much. But it's like my duvet itself, that goes inside, like the quilt, I think it's a square. Because no matter how I do it, it just fits.
See, ours isn't.
It just always fits.
I mean, because
yeah.
of the measuring tape, I discovered that we also have a king, so it's that much bigger
Much
and that
more.
much more annoying. Like my boyfriend was like inside the duvet, like it talk about comedy of errors. It was hilarious, and Frank the dog was like, "What is happening? What are you guys doing? You look like idiots." It was actually very amusing. That's how exciting my life is right now. But
it's at least it's like something you can laugh about.
exactly. I mean, that's really, I mean, it's what it's all about. But Sarah, I know I gripe about this a lot, or rant maybe is a better word, but last week was truly the week of the most extreme adulting I've ever done in my life, like by far. And you and I had like intermittent chats. I could barely even like shower last week. It was so brutal. I don't know what happened. It was like my friend Melissa told me that like Mercury was in retrograde. There was a full moon and she was having an emotional week. And I'm like, God, maybe that was part of it. I don't know. But wow.
Oh, Mercury.
I know.
Oh, Mercury.
It seems like Mercury is always in retrograde. I mean, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's like every time I look at the clock, it's 11:11. I mean, something wacky is happening out there. But I had a pretty stressful family negotiation pop up. And I'm not going to get into the gruesome details, but I had to like decipher this old trust from, 1999, and to like track down this lawyer who was like, I couldn't even find him, he didn't really exist. And it was really tough because, we had to, we were on and off the phone with like our old lawyer, our new lawyer, because we're like in transition to get with this new lawyer because our old one is retiring. And so he's kind of like, he still wants to help us, but then he'll be unavailable. He'll be like, I'll do this, but I'm going to be on the beach in Florida for a week, so I'm out of pocket. And you're like, oh shit, well, I got to get someone else on board because this stuff has to happen. So it's like a lot of this like under the gun, like bank account stuff, like, talks with my CPA about taxes already, which is blowing my mind that I even have to think about that already. Seriously, taxes are probably the worst part of running this business. And it's like, are you kidding me? This is just mind-bending shit. Like at the end of the week, I was just
Fried.
like so fried. Yeah, seriously. And I mean, I woke up on Saturday morning and I think I went straight to my window seat in my office and just like read a magazine and just like, and then closed my eyes for a while. I mean, it was really a lot. And it made me really think about and reflect on my 30s and how damn lucky I've been. I mean, I know that everybody's going to take a hit at some point. I mean, that's just part of life. Like life is suffering, whether you like it or not, you're going to go through these dips and it's fine. And I'm learning a lot. And it's also something to laugh about because it's like such serious shit. But like really when I look back on my like 20s and 30s, I'm like, man, my dad really protected us from this stuff. Like he's the one that handled a lot of that business. And my 30s were a cakewalk. I mean, I mean, not a cakewalk. I mean, I worked hard. I was always a hard worker. I had a work permit when I was 14 and I've worked my whole life. And I feel like I have good work ethic. And so maybe I don't know what it is, but I guess I worked hard to play hard, and all I worried about was like what kind of cocktail I would get at happy hour. It was just like fun. It was just like everything was fun and footloose and fancy free. And so this week, it just happened to be, and maybe this is just the balancing of the scales. There's like 3 parties, like 3 nights in a row. And I'm like, it's funny. It's like, nothing's ever perfect because you're like, oh, thank God, like not a big stressful week. I'm going to go to some parties. I'm going to be social. It's going to be fun. But then I'm like, how am I going to survive 3 parties in a row, like 3 nights in a row? And so I'm
that
like,
gives
whoa.
me stress.
I know, me too. I'm already stressing about it. So we got invited. We have some new friends up here who actually, they have a house in LA. They're LA peeps, but they want to live up here part-time. So they've been coming up a lot. They stay on our property. They're great people. So they are way more integrated in this community than I am. And I've been here for 2 years, and they just visit. So they've already have a membership. There's some private club here. It's called the Ingmar Club, and it's supposed to be this fancy spot. It's in this huge, trippy Victorian. And like, for example, the Magic Castle in LA, a lot of you guys are probably familiar with that. That's a membership kind of club situation. But if you have a membership up here with this club, that also gives you access to the Magic Castle. So there's these like, so anyway,
Oh, really?
so it's kind of cool. Like, I just learned this from these people who don't even live here. And you can't wear jeans or t-shirts. Like, this is like a fancy dinner they invited us to. I'm going to have to like dig into my archives, go into the attic or something for this one, because I have to like wear something really, kind of nice when all I wear is jeans and yoga pants. But then it is my boyfriend's birthday this week. So that's the day after this private club dinner. And we're going to do something all day, probably go on a little jaunt and have a birthday dinner somewhere. And then on Friday is a surprise dinner for that friend who belongs to that fancy club. And thankfully I'm not coordinating that one because they've got people flying from all over to come out, and they're all staying on our property. Seriously, by Saturday, I will be dead. What are you guys up to this week? Anything exciting, or are you just wrestling with your bedding? Email us at hi@havesuchagoodday.com.
Please do. Speaking of, pardon me. Speaking of, well, not private clubs, but linen sheets. I was lamenting the price of linen sheets on the show last week because I was just like, oh, I'm going to buy I know what sheets I like. I know where I get them. I've done this, it would be like my third, like I don't even change the color. I like the sheets. And yeah, they're $450. And that's like before tax. Yeah. Or I was like, that's just insane. And so I did some looking around the internet. Of course, I, hit Wirecutter and be like, what are their favorite linen sheets? And looking at sheets all over. And linen sheets are just really pricey. And sure, maybe it's supply chain. There may be other factors that like I'm just not aware of, but it's crazy. And I need new sheets, man. And so I did buy a set. They haven't arrived yet, but they're in transit. So it doesn't seem like it's going to take that long to get to me. They were in Visalia last I checked last night.
Oh, wow.
But
How
they're on the
exciting.
move. Yeah, and they're just, I know. And it's 2 pillowcases, a top, and a fitted sheet. That's all it is. So if I like them, because it's from a company I've not used before, if I like them, I will let y'all know.
Please.
And if I really like them, I'm probably going to get the duvet in the same material just because why not? Why not go linen
What color
crazy?
did you get?
But
did you go white?
the sheets are, well, they're like very thin pinstripe. So I think
nice.
they will look mostly white, but kind of have a little bit more of like some grain to them, which is cool. They're also, when the bed's made, you don't even see them. Like it almost doesn't matter like what the sheets look like, right? Except for that moment that you're getting in bed and you go, oh, look, pinstripes. But yeah, we'll maybe they'll be here by our show next week, and I can talk about them.
Please let me know because I'm getting warm in my flannel sheets. I'm gonna have to change those soon, which I'm excited about. I want it to be warmer weather, but I need some fancy linen sheets, Sarah. So definitely keep us posted.
Got to do linen. Yeah, I we have been talking about it in Discord. I mean, not like at too much length, people being like linen sheets. Never really thought about it, but apparently it's a thing. Oh, it's a thing. It's a thing, and you have to. It's like I was mentioning last week. It's like there's a crumpliness to linen. If you were gonna iron your sheets, I guess before you make your bed, like they would be less crumply, but they're gonna get crumply again. That's just how linen is. but it's in a soft, breathable way. It's my fave, my absolute fave. And I don't even really wear linen clothing. I can't think of anything linen I even have right now. It feels really good in a bed. So anyway, and if anyone finds linen sheets, and you can get like kind of cheapy linen sheets here and there, it's not like I'm telling you have to spend $400 on sheets, but I wanted, sheets that are nice, that are going to last me years. So I went with something that was not as expensive, but also like a splurge. This is like happy birthday to me type thing.
Good. I'm really glad that you treat yourself, as they say.
Thank you. Yeah. My bank account's like, okay. So what do you think I'm made of? Money? So anyway, life is pain. But
Life sure is.
But I was watching the show Euphoria. I don't know if you watch that, Heather. Do you?
I
On
do. I
HBO?
haven't seen the new season. I've watched it. I really, really liked it, but I haven't started the new season. I'm so overwhelmed with these shows. I have like 20 shows that I want to see right now. I don't know where to begin.
Yeah, you just run through them. It's a good problem to have, right? I
Exactly.
sometimes feel like I don't really have anything to watch except just kind of like mindless things that I don't even really want to watch, but I'm like, nothing else is on, which is so not true. But it's sometimes you have crippled by choice, really. But I am watching the new season of Euphoria, and it's a very good show. I mean, it's extremely artsy, and I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, and I won't. But the show is about teenagers. There's some adults involved, but it's like mostly about teenagers, and it's like heavy material,
Very.
drug abuse and sex and stuff where it's like some of it is obviously like it's like the hyper, aggressive version of how one might have lived in high school. I don't really watch the show and go like, yep, high school was exactly like that, but it's not that far off either. It's like there's an element of like, kids are gonna be bad kind of
Yep.
thing. But this show takes it to another level, and I was watching because there was a new episode that I was watching last night, and there's a lot of nudity, not family friendly. Everybody, a lot of full frontal nudity, and you kind of go like, whoa, huh? There was a time not that long ago you didn't see stuff like that. I mean, even for an HBO show, it was like maybe a hint or a shadow or something,
Sure.
but it's pretty gratuitous.
Maybe
And
a boob here and there, like the side boob or something.
yeah, but not, I mean, it's usually not like, here's a fully naked teenager.
Yeah.
And I'm watching and I'm kind of like, I know that probably all actors are over 18 in the show. They're just supposed to be playing teenagers.
Yeah.
But it's like, I get slightly weirded out by it. And, I'm still going to watch the show. It's a good show. But it's like, how far do we go with some of this before I start feeling like I'm 45 and I'm kind of like looking at naked teenagers like, it's a little weird to me.
It's like maybe it should be on like late night Showtime, like soft porn. Like maybe it should be considered
but
something
like,
else.
But it's the characters are supposed to be underage. Some
Sure.
of them, maybe
Sure.
some of them are 18, whatever. But like, it's just there's an element of discomfort that I just have the whole time.
I get it.
And so I was thinking like, okay, well, I finished the first season of Yellow Jackets recently, which is also about teenagers. I mean, it jumps back and forth in time, but a lot of it is, teenage life. And that show is racy in its own way, but it's also kind of campy. And there's like, I don't know, it feels so much more like, oh, it's a fantasy show, where Euphoria is maybe a little hitting close to home.
Yeah.
In certain ways, where I'm like, God, man, it's been a while since I was in high school, but boy, that looks horrible. It looks like, I mean, angst is not even the word for this.
No.
And I wonder how, it's like, has anyone felt like, this is border, like, and I can watch anything, I do not offend easily. But there are certain qualities of Euphoria in particular. I was trying to think of any other show that kind of rubs me a weird way the same, and I can't really think of one. I'm sure it's out there, but
Well, there's like
I just don't.
Californication kind of had, I mean, because that was really about sex, and he was, you know, very prolific with young girls. I mean, it's not a direct comparison because obviously
Right.
most of the actors are supposed to be minors in Euphoria. But they're, you know, it's funny. I was thinking about, you know, what you were saying about HBO, and HBO's always been a little racy, right? Like you would expect to see some sex and some, you know, violence and maybe some swearing and that kind of thing in HBO. It's been like that forever. But yeah, I can't
Yeah.
think far back. Like, was Sopranos really gratuitous, or was
Violence wise, yeah.
Sure,
You saw some
yeah.
nudity. I
like
mean,
6 feet
come on,
under?
it's a pretty brutal show.
Okay,
but
actually,
yeah.
I have an experience recently. I don't know if you've been watching Just Like That. I'm embarrassed to say that I'm hate watching that.
Oh, yeah,
And
I'm watching
I
that.
actually
Yeah.
actually just stopped because
This is
I
the
can't
new
handle
Sex
it
and the
anymore. This is
City
the new Sex and the City
reboot for anybody.
So I have to say, I was absolutely, my mouth dropped open because in one of the last episodes, they showed two men full frontal, one after the next. And I was like, I don't remember seeing a lot of male full frontal in HBO shows in the past. I mean, not that visible, where it's like, yeah, you would be a suggestion. But this was like full on the harsh light of day, like in your face. I was like, whoa.
I don't even. I think I'm all caught up. I don't even remember the scene. Anyway, and let's
man.
not
We'll
spoil anything.
talk
but
offline.
yeah, I'm like, maybe I missed a.
That made me a little
episode. I don't know.
uncomfortable. Only because I just was like, I was not expecting it. And I don't recall, you know, they've always been much more open with women, like in their bodies, than men in the past. So I'm wondering, I'm like, maybe HBO is trying to push the envelope with like, we want to be the edgy network. We want to be edgier. Maybe they're just like pushing it to see how far they can go with it.
Yeah, it's yeah. I don't want to make it seem like, ooh, you know, Euphoria, like you just can't handle it. Some people will be like, this isn't the show for me. That I'm sure of. Like my
Yeah.
mom. My mom, if she's getting through Succession, actually. She ended up liking it. She didn't really like it at first, but it has grown on her. But that's a show where I'm like, you know what, Mom, you will like the show. Like commit to it. I promise you'll get into it. Euphoria, I don't think she would like it at all.
Yeah.
And I don't think I want her to like try. I think
No.
she'd just be like, what, this is
Advise her
much.
against it, I think.
It's just like I'm like, I can barely hang, you know. I don't think Mom needs to watch, you know, remind herself how horrible teenagers are. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. It's just something that I was kicking around in my head of like, how much is too much before
Yeah.
I go, I don't know.
Well,
I
it's
don't
funny
know about
because
this.
I look back on my teen years and like I was a very outgoing, and I know you were too. We swapped stories, and you know, I was very social, and I went to a lot of parties, but it wasn't. There was an innocence to it. Yeah, sure. Like I made out with the first boy, but like we just like kissed, and it was pretty innocent. No, you know, we didn't take our clothes off, that kind of thing. We drank. We would raid like, you know, liquor cabinets, but we never were like using like hard drugs, really. You know, like that. It was just like, it was much more innocent.
Not
I did go
often
to a rave or
anyway.
two, but you know, that was like later in high school. But yeah, there's a hardcoreness about that show.
Yes, and I would say, I mean, I don't want to like I would not call myself the bad kid, and we've talked about, you know, the bad kids in episodes past. Like that was never me, but I knew them, you know, and there were certain situations that I would get myself in where I'd be like, this is probably not very safe, you know, like
Yeah,
my
of
parents
course.
would flip out, you know, if they knew half of the stuff that was really going on that they didn't know about. But you know, it's like riding that wave. I don't know. There was some stuff definitely in high school. I mean,
Yeah.
I would not call it an innocent 4 years at all.
Yeah.
And I've traded war stories from high school with other people, and they're like, "That really happened at your school?" And I'm like,
Yeah, I've had a
"Yeah, we
few
thought it was
too.
normal."
Yeah, there was.
Like it was just, so, I think there's like, it's like a combination of, being naive and
Yeah.
impressionable, but like nearing adulthood and pushing boundaries. And it's like, I mean, I know I have friends from high school that, I mean, they're more just like Facebook acquaintances to me now, but like they're still like struggling, like
Yeah,
jail, drug use,
totally.
like all the stuff where I'm like, yeah, like that wasn't just high school for you. That's it was just like you're actually in deep shit, my man,
Yeah,
right now,
totally. Yeah,
and
there
it's
was
been a
that.
while.
There was that. I mean, I grew up in Los Gatos, which is like a pretty like fancy little town that, there were
Affluent,
some,
yeah.
yeah, very affluent. But there were definitely some little anecdotes I could share at some point. But there were more along the lines of like, a Todd Solondz movie or something, like something that was just really quirky and weird, but like not like too involving jail or like, I don't know, like not too scary, just like really quirky and weird. But that, maybe a story for another day. What do you think?
Yeah, I know. It's like I'm like, oh, I could tell you some jail stories, but like, what a downer that would be. I don't think anyone's gonna enjoy that story. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some high school people I know are still in prison.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Oh man.
Way to
Well,
go.
Sarah, we are approaching the Lunar New Year. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Yeah, I'm aware. That's fun.
When you Google it though, it's kind of fun. You get fireworks like all over the page. Well, at least it happened for me. I thought that was kind of fun. Oh, the internet, always
Oh,
surprising
Google.
us. Yeah.
Yeah, Lunar New Year. Some Chinese families I know, make a big deal out of it,
Yeah.
and it seems pretty fun.
It
Kind of comes
does.
and goes for me, but it's always I'm into it as much as I'm into, I don't know, New Year's of any kind. Happy New Year.
Yeah, I agreed. And it's funny because all these things kind of pass through, and then I'm like, oh, that's kind of fun. I'll read about it. I'll talk about it a little bit, but it's not like it's like my faith and my, religion or my spirituality or whatever. Obviously I did not grow up with it. I didn't even grow up going to church or celebrating or having these types of kind of religious or spiritual like rituals. I kind of grew up in an atheist family, very science based, but sometimes I do think about like having faith in something, and like these types of traditions or rituals is very grounding. And sometimes I feel like maybe I should do more of this kind of thing, because it's, of course I have like my little rituals, but like nothing that is grounded in an established like religion or spirituality or whatever. But so this stuff can be kind of fun. The Lunar New Year thing, I think in particular, it's based on moon cycles on the lunar calendar. It's very Chinese. It's celebrated in kind of like more of like a Southeast Asia kind of territory. And so this year we are entering the year of the tiger, which is a symbol of strength, exercising evils, and braveness. And I like this exercising evils thing. I'm really fascinated. And I was born in 1974, so like I am a tiger. So that actually is much deeper when you're looking at the year you were born. I guess it like year of a rat, your year of a dragon, your year of a tiger. What does this year mean for you? What does 2022 year of the tiger mean for someone who was born in 1974? So I kind of went down a little bit of a rabbit hole. There's a lot of good and bad luck and things that you should sort of think about. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but they say you should be this year in particular focusing on the positive and only use auspicious language, which, okay, fair. That's not too difficult. But they do talk a lot about spring cleaning and getting rid of like any bad luck in your house, which I did that last weekend and I plan to do it again. And then I thought this was sort of funny because Sarah, I know you're getting your hair cut today, but it says do not wash or cut your hair on the first day of the new year. Chinese character for hair is also
Is today the first day of the new year?
No, it's the first. So
Oh, I I see.
So I think you're okay. But the Chinese, so a lot of Chinese characters are
Because I was going anyway.
yeah, a lot of the. I mean, I don't think you're that superstitious where you're like, okay, I'm canceling my appointment.
I'm
But
not superstitious in any way. So
yeah.
it's all good, tigers.
so it's cool. Like a lot of Chinese characters have several meanings. Like apparently, crisis equals opportunity. It's like the same symbol. So the Chinese character for hair is also prosper. So if you wash or cut your hair, you're washing or cutting your fortune away. Anyway, there's lots of other rules, whatever. Supposedly you're not supposed to buy shoes, which is crazy talk. But like I said, I am a tiger. The personality traits are quick-witted, resourceful, versatile, and kind. I mean, again, Sarah, these are general. I could say that about a lot of other people. They talk about your lucky numbers and your lucky colors and your lucky flowers and that kind of thing. And so it says that people born in the year of the tiger, which I was, the Chinese believe that there will be more disruptions in the year to come. So I'm like, great, cool. I could use some more disruptions. Not really. But Sarah, I looked you up. I looked up your year and your date of birth, and you are a dragon, which you probably already know. Mm-hmm. And your personality is confident, intelligent, and enthusiastic. My point is that dragons and rats and maybe a few other signs do not have any significant unlucky kind of stars for this year. And it says that you will probably have a relatively peaceful year. I thought you might like to hear that.
That would be nice. After the year I had, man, 2021 was such a just dumpster fire in so many ways. Earlier in the show, you were talking about, in your 20s and 30s, life was just a lot simpler. I mean, of course, it's always what you make it. Life is never really simple, but you sort of take on things later in life and you go, God, I never even thought about this. Now I think about it all the time. And I think that when we sort of go like, well, my boyfriend broke up with me and my car broke down and, there's so many things that go wrong of varying degrees, and you say, well, at least we have our health, right?
Yeah.
And like last year I was like, oh shit, I don't have my health. My health is really bad right now.
Yeah.
Like got the big C. That's no good. And I'm doing better now. But yeah, if I could just coast this year, honestly, just like pay my rent. My car lease is up pretty soon, so I got to figure that out. That might be a whole thing. But like, if I can just coast, I would be okay with that.
Yeah,
Maybe
totally.
I won't even prosper. Just coast.
Just coast.
Coasting is fine. I will coast.
Hey man, at the end of the day, if you could just enjoy your linen sheets, I don't know, and enjoy your drinking your wine out of a mug. I mean, you're doing pretty well, Sarah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was telling Heather, because all my wine glasses just broke, not all at once, but they just, you knock it. I have one left. And I actually prefer these days the stemless glasses. They're just like, I don't know, not just because like, they don't fall over as easily, just aesthetically, I like the way that they look.
Yeah.
And I had gotten like I don't know, it was like a pack of 6 or something. I think, I just bought them from Target, whatever, like Riedel, whatever that brand is. And like, just, I don't know where they all went. But I mean, I know some of them, broke over time. And Otis is to blame because his tail's really strong. But sometimes he's to blame. But like, I had one left, and it actually was a stem glass where it just like, I don't know, just a glass I'd had for a really long time. All my stemless had just like disappeared, broken or whatever. Who knows? Like, did someone take them? Like, where did they go? And I just
you don't
just
have a
had
house alarm, so maybe they broke it.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, they don't want anything else of mine, only the stemless glasses. And I had just this one glass left, and which is funny because if you were to come over, I'd be like, oh, that's so embarrassing. I have one glass, so like you can have that, and like I'll drink out of the mug. But really, no one ever comes over, right? It's like we've been.
Yeah.
I live a pretty solitary life, with in-person stuff. And so it was just like, well, whatever, this is my glass, when I'm done, I wash it and then I use it next time I, need to put something in a wine glass. And a friend of mine came over and it broke. I put it in a tote bag because I was like, gonna take it somewhere. I don't know whatever. And like I open the tote bag later and it's like totally crushed.
Well, of course. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but you know.
But like I just, again, like I wasn't slamming it down on anything.
Yeah.
This was like, I don't even remember what I was doing, but it's gone. So a friend of mine came over the other week, and she brought a bottle of champagne. It's just like really nice, you know? So we were like, ooh, let's pop the bottle of champagne and like have a little champagne. And I'm like, crap. I could like get the ladder and like get my grandmother's crystal out so we could drink champagne like in nice glasses. But like, I just said to her, I'm like, do you care? And she's like, no, I don't care. You know, so we just drank our champagne out of like coffee mugs. And I mean, I don't know. It looks kind of lame. Tastes the same.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's all
We'll survive.
All the vessels have
Like
their,
I said,
their purpose.
broken house on the prairie.
Yeah.
Just crumbling around me.
Year of the Tiger, we are counting on you to make our year. We just want to glide. We just want to glide through the year, please. We beg you. What do you? I'm actually curious. What do you out there believe in? Email us at hi@havesuchagoodday. It could be anything from, I don't know. I mean, religion to some sort of annual ritual that you like to partake in that makes you feel more grounded. I'd be curious to hear from you.
I would too. Yeah. hi@havesuchagoodday.com is where to send that email. Thank you in advance. We love getting your emails. We also love our patrons. Patreon.com/havesuchagoodday is where to find out more about directly supporting the show through Patreon if you aren't already. I know lots of you are, so thank you so much for the support. We're trying to grow our proud army here. We're more of a Switzerland, really. We're not going to invade anybody.
No,
but
we're not.
we're like a fun army. Yeah, like a friendly, fun, like Casper the Friendly Army.
You know, Sarah, we got a really
Don't really
cool
know
email
what
from.
that came from.
I like it. Henry C. wrote in, and he was referring to someone had recommended this game Wingspan. And it's birds. And he says that it's one of many games that he has and that it's available on Steam Laptop Simulator if you want to try it. Gosh, I remember Steam. I definitely don't have that, Henry, but I probably will buy the board game. And he also, one little quick piece of advice that I like, because I was talking about how frustrating it can be to live in the country and your shoes are always dirty and wet and all these things. So he said, to keep your shoes clean for quick yard work, plastic grocery bag and a rubber band will make quick galoshes. And I think this is really funny because just the other day at the post office, I saw a guy with that exact thing. He's like got plastic bags with rubber bands.
Just chilling at the post
Just
office.
going in. No, he's like going
picking
in to
up
get
a
his mail.
package.
Yeah. And also our friend Lisa wrote in and told us she was listening to the show and that she loves Wingspan also. And that she played over Christmas
cool.
and she wants to buy it for herself. She says it's very satisfying bird nerdery. So yeah, I got to get on that.
love birds.
I'm really, really curious. I'd like to try that out. So I have some friends coming up this year and hopefully we can play.
Yeah, I had not heard of it.
I had heard of it. I'd seen.
That'd be fun. Yeah, gosh, a board game. Haven't played a board game in a long time.
I like it. I mean, I think if I have some friends who, when we get together, we might play a game of Quirkle or Dominoes or something. But yeah, I mean, we don't really play very much. I occasionally will do like a jigsaw puzzle just over time. But this sounds fun. I want to check it out. So, and anyway, follow us on Instagram if you guys want daily reminders of how awesome our lives are. Just kidding. We do not do daily reminders, but please join us however you can. And you guys are amazing.
You really are amazing. All of y'all. Heather, I don't know. I'm trying to think of if there's anything we've left out over the last week. And I feel like, listen,
We've covered all the bases.
I had an eventful week last week. Otis the dog got an eye infection. And this doesn't have to be a long story at all, but it looked like pink eye, doggy conjunctivitis.
Pretty common,
is what it
yeah.
is. Yeah, and he's had it before, not recently, but I kind of knew I was like, yeah, that's what it looks like again. And I don't remember what that vet had me give him last time, if it was oral medication or if it was, I don't really remember putting eye drops in his eyes or anything, but I remember it being like cleared up quickly, not a problem. So he had a funny eye and he's kind of pawing at it, where you kind of go like, I don't want him to like scratch his cornea. And then all of a sudden it got into the other eye. And, he has heterochromia. So he's got one brown eye, one blue eye. And the blue eye is like, it's always the kind of, he's more sensitive with that eye.
Sure.
I think it's the light.
It's pretty
It's
common,
more
yeah.
sensitive. He'll flinch more with that eye, if kind of something gets close to his head. So once I saw that eye, and it's like, because it's a very light blue and it was so dramatically red, I was just like, I mean, is my dog going to lose his eye? Like, this is kind of bad news. And it it went from one to both with just like, I'll spare you the details, but all sorts of stuff coming out of it, like overnight, to the point where like he couldn't even really open his eyes. And I was freaking out. He has since, this was like not even a week ago. I've got this ointment that I like rub on. I have to rub like kind of just sort of on his eyelashes, like not in his eye, but enough so that it kind of soaks in, and kind of coats the area. I have to do that a few times a day. Not a big deal at all. And he's way better. But like, yeah, that, I don't even really know why I felt it so necessary to tell you, oh, I guess I was just like, yeah, nothing really happened last week. But
yeah,
the fact is like, that was actually a pretty dramatic thing that happened. It now just kind of feels like a long time ago.
This is actually why so much of the
I've
world
broken
is
my
on
bookcase since then.
like anti-anxiety meds, because you wake up and you just don't know what kind of shitstorm you're going to wake up to. Seriously, it's funny. So you have to really hunker down when the day is promising and the sun's coming out. You got to just seize the day and enjoy it while it lasts. That's my closing advice for you.
Thank you, Heather. Yeah, your inspirational words of wisdom for the week. Everyone, you know what? We're gonna crush this week now.
You're crushing it.
Because we're why not?
No pressure.
Why
No
not
pressure
crush
at all.
it? Yeah.
I know. No, seriously.
I'm
this
just
week is
like
gonna
I
be
said,
really great.
Heather. All I can do, coasting. I will coast happily. I don't have to crush a thing. Just don't, let me fall into some sort of a sinkhole or, some horrible thing that could also happen.
I don't know why I feel this pressure to like, this is another show topic for a later show, but I feel this need to be extraordinary all the time. And I'm like, this is a lot of pressure. All right. So let's talk about this next show. But in the meantime, I will remain Heather.
And I will remain Sarah. And we both hope you have such
a good day. Ciao.